I've been working as a nurse in a hospital for the last 5 years, and I've seen everything. People with serious illnesses, sometimes even incurable. It was very hard, but it was all bearable. If it hadn't been for the last terrible incident, I would have continued to work there. I know that many people say that it's better to be a doctor, but I liked my job. Who else will take care of patients if not a nurse? It all started with the fact that a young woman, Lily, was brought to the hospital. By the nature of the wounds, it was clear that she was crawling out of the forest through sharp branches. But unfortunately, she had already lost consciousness when she was found by a passing hunter. Therefore, she couldn't tell us about what happened. Every night I was on duty by her bed and waited for her to wake up and tell me who did this to her. But as time went on, she didn't get any better. There is no point in sitting here, I decided, and went to have a coffee in the nurse's room. It's located at the end of the corridor. As soon as I took out a mug and poured coffee, a scream came from the ward. Dropping everything, I ran there. The window is wide open, and a dark figure looms over Lily. He saw me come in, took a look at me and jumped out the window. It was only for a moment that I had time to examine him. He didn't look like a human, more like some kind of wild animal, all covered with fur, sharp fangs sticking out of his mouth, and on the crooked paws were long black claws. As soon as he disappeared from the room, I rushed to Lily. She was no longer breathing, and there was a laceration on her neck. For several days I came to my senses, blaming myself for leaving her alone for a few minutes, but nothing could be fixed. For the next week life went on as usual. People who needed my help still got to the hospital, but then I found out that it happened again. This time they found Jack. He was less lucky than Lily. The monster didn't give him a chance. Jack was also our doctor, who has been working at the hospital for a long time. He often received complaints from patients, but he knew his job. He just didn't know how to communicate well with people. The police didn't know what to do and threw up their hands. They were looking all over the neighborhood for a maniac who attacks his victims. I even told them what I saw in the ward, but no one believed me. They said I was working hard and it was just a hallucination. But I know that's not the case. I saw him. After another week it all happened again. Nurse Carol. I knew her well and was shocked that this happened to her. This time I decided to take the investigation into my own hands. I couldn't look on these tortured victims anymore. The police told me where Jack, Lily and Carol were found. The same place, 20 kilometers from the hospital. Having plucked up the courage, I went there. All the police searches were during the day, and the victims were found at night. Or maybe they weren't looking at all. So I armed myself with a flashlight and a knife for my defense, although I wasn't sure that it will help me. After leaving the path by the road, I wanted to turn back many times. Why would I do that? I could be next. But the injustice was driving me crazy. In the distance I saw a small light. Having gathered the courage, I went to him, clutching the knife tightly in my hand. Coming closer, I saw that it looked like a small forester's house. There was a small oil lamp in it, but there seemed to be no one inside. I slowly opened the creaking door and found myself inside. The first thing that caught my attention was the photo on the table. There was a young man on it. I took a picture of it on my phone, and as I was leaving I saw a crossed-out photo of Carol on the wall. There were photos of other victims hanging next to her, also crossed out. And the last photo was mine. It was taken through a window and I was sitting at a table in my hospital on it. Cold sweat broke out on my forehead. I should be next. I ran back to the car as fast as I could. And as soon as I got into it and blocked the doors, in the distance in the forest, I saw a familiar figure. He didn't run after me, but just stood and watched. I didn't know what to do. It's pointless to call the police, they won't believe me. But the photo on the table seemed somehow familiar to me. At home I tried for a long time to remember who he reminds me of. I spent the next day digging through medical records and found him. It was a photo of our patient. A year ago he was brought to us with a cardiac arrest. Doctors couldn't help him. The relatives believed that the doctors hadn't done enough and threatened us with court. But then everything went quiet. It became clear that someone was taking revenge for him. Everyone who was attacked worked that ill-fated shift. I was very scared for my life. Without thinking for 5 minutes, I wrote a letter of resignation. I didn't want him to find me here. He saw me in the hospital, saw me in the woods, and I decided that I just needed to hide for a while. I haven't been out of the house for months. My sister brought me food and said I was crazy, but they all just don't understand. I was the last one he hunted, and I don't think he's going to stop. I don't even know what he is, but I know for sure that he needs me as the missing puzzle. The attacks stopped, he waited, but I never gave him a chance to fulfill his plans. In the end, my sister lost patience and handed me over to a psychiatric clinic for treatment, but I don't mind. He won't be able to reach me here. The doctors tell me I'm crazy, but I'm not trying to convince them. It's better to be here, but not to become his victim.